Hey, what's going on? This is Voz, the men speaking out with D Voz, my younger brother. And, we are actually here today talking about uh, the death of a high value man. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. This is really a podcast, ad hoc podcast, not necessarily scheduled, but we put it on the actual books because we wanted to do something to honor the late Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul. But at the same token, we wanted to make sure that we shared some of the life lessons he gave us, even in the short time for some of us who've listened, for years, or for some of us who just listened for a few months or a few weeks. He still gave us some life lessons as men that we're going to talk about, and we're also going to get into the how can I put this the the rhetoric that's going on about him being talked about in a negative manner in death. It's really a shame that we have to see and hear individuals really downplaying this man, whom, in my opinion, I won't say I agree with everything he shared and said, but for the most part, I'm like 80-20 with him. For the most part, a lot of the information he shared with us as viewers and listeners was real. But I'm going to digress and introduce my guest. This is D Boz. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Man, I appreciate you having me. My staff and team at Off the Record. We love to come and join you, man, and we felt like it was a great topic, and just hope that I can contribute, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's right. As a matter of fact, this my younger brother has his own podcast called Off the Record, and look forward. It basically he has his own little Facebook page and things of that nature, and Facebook group. I'm sorry, and you can join his Off the Record Facebook group and basically stay informed of different shows and episodes that might be coming soon to a podcast near you. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and move forward with the show. And once again, viewers, we potentially will have other folks join us. So this is not just a one-two punch here. We might have a whole conglomerate of individuals on this podcast, but of course, myself and Devaz are going to get it started right now. So let's jump right into it. Kevin Samuels passed a few days ago. It was reported that Mr. Samuels, and this is alleged. Now, of course, the facts are still coming out, so I want to make sure I'm clear. I don't want to don't hold me to this information. But in doing my research, I did. Kevin Samuels had met a young lady at a outing or some sort of event, and then at that point, they went back to Mr. Samuels' home, of course, and do what grown-ups do that evening. And Kevin Samuels had a heart attack, I would say, or
Heart attack.
heart attack. And then the young lady called 911, and when 911, the actual folks responded when they showed up on site. He was unresponsive, and of course they took him to the hospital. And then, of course, eventually, Mr. Samuels had passed on. Yeah. So that is what was shared. I know a lot of folks are trying to figure out, okay, what happened, what it was. So I just told you. And if by chance you don't necessarily agree to what I just shared, you can actually go to do your own research or go to Google or whatever and look it up yourself. But I'm trying to save you that research time. Mm-hmm. So that's it. Mr. Samuels, God rest his soul. He did a lot for me, in this space, especially defining a high value man, talking about what it's like to be a bonus father, understanding the 5 items, that men are looking for with today's woman, and understanding the differences between traditional and modern women. We're going to talk about all those in this podcast. But I want to reach out to D-Boss real quick before I go into the actual rhetoric that's being shared. What did Mr. Samuels do for you? What sort of impact did he leave on your life, bro?
Well, I think for me, it's twofold. Okay. Mm-hmm. One, I felt like he brought a conversation to the dinner table that maybe was uncomfortable for some to digest. Okay. He was talking about people basically improving who you are, getting in better health, right? He
Mm-hmm.
talked about, folks losing weight, even men and women. He talked a lot about that. He
Mm-hmm.
talked about how we view other people, like, and how we view ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
He would ask the question, what do you consider yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what do you, and I think that sometimes it was his opinion, right?
Right.
It wasn't necessarily a fact. It was just his opinion based off of what he believed to be true, right? So, and some people would rate themselves whatever they felt they rate themselves, and then he would tell them what he thought, right? And I think that people always can tell you what they think of you, right? I have people that don't like me. I don't really care. I can accept the criticism and keep moving. I don't have to argue with somebody simply because I have a difference in opinion with you, right? I can, people can dislike me for a variety of reasons. And I think that what Kevin Samuel did, or impacted me in some way, was that, kind of, he basically verified or solidified, hey, you're not going to be liked. You're going to have an opinion. People may not always like it. It is what it is. And you just keep moving on with your life. And I think that got lost in the dialogue. I think that got lost. People took it personal. They got into their feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what they presume that they are, a man didn't view you that way, right? A female thought that, oh, I'm a 10. Well, most men look at you as a 7 or a 6. That's just what we view.
Right.
You don't necessarily, you can continue to think you're a 10. Go right ahead and think you're a 10. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. But you may be viewed as a 5 or a 4 at best. Who knows, right? I think that people got lost in that.
Yeah.
They got lost in the feelings of that. And then now you have all of this uproar, Jamil, that we're seeing. I have a podcast coming later in the week talking a little bit about some of this stuff with one of my guests. But, that's what I think would happen there. I think the facts, people started looking at opinion, and they thought they made it fact. And then they got upset about what he was talking about. And I think that's where we are.
Yeah, it's interesting too. You say that because that is where we are, right? I mean, like I said, people put their emotions on their sleeve, right,
Mm-hmm.
and not looking at the logic behind what Mr. Samuels was trying to say, right? Mr. Samuels was trying to build the Black families. Bottom line,
I agree with that.
he was trying to build Black families. He was trying to make sure that we were aware of what's going on, what we need to do as not just men, but as also women, to make sure that we build a foundation for Black families. Because, like you said, you're in a home building business. You can't build a stable home if you got no foundation, right? The foundation has to be laid first, and then you build up from there. So I think a lot of individuals looked at that as, well, I'm a 10. Like you said, I'm a 10. Well, maybe to you, but what does the sexual market value look at you at, right? What's your SMV, right? A lot of folks didn't understand what the SMV was. Hell, he taught me that after hearing him speak about it, and understanding that he said, I think he said, anything that ages with use decreases in value. The same 45-year-old woman ain't the same 25-year-old woman. The same 50-year-old man, yours truly, ain't the same 30 or 20-year-old man. Everything always decreases with use, but the same token, on a sexual market value, men can maintain a higher sexual market value because we have the ability to reproduce. We have the ability to do that. When a woman turns 40 or 35 plus, it becomes geriatric pregnancy, and it's a little bit more challenging, a little bit more risky, and so things of that nature. So when he's talking about sexual market value, he's talking about how good is your womb.
Mm-hmm.
We all going to age. We get that. Okay, that's just how it goes. But at the same token, a 50-year-old man like myself can go pick up a 25-year-old woman easier than a 50-year-old woman can get a 25-year-old man in that space, unless they call her a cougar or some sort, right?
Well, I think also, Jamil, I mean, just to add to that, you going back to what you said, the SMV?
Yeah, SMV, sexual market value.
Right. So I think that in your particular case, right, sometimes we do get better with age, right? You know,
Correct.
and some women get better with age. They maintain themselves, they take care of themselves, they go to the gym. They've been going to the gym for 25 years,
Yeah.
right? That's not anything new. They have a maybe a high level of education, right? Or maybe not. It doesn't, but that all adds to your value, so to speak, right?
Correct.
Educated, you're healthy, all those things. Yes, a younger woman is more likely to, bear children for you, right? I mean, I know several guys that are my age that were married, got divorced, got married again, and the woman's 20 years younger than them,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
15 years younger than them. And now,
Yeah.
and actually they're having kids, they're, so, that's pretty normal, and these guys had families. Kids have gone off and grown and went off to college and
Hmm.
all that, and they started over again. So yeah, I can see that point, and I think once you're a man or a woman and you've been down that road already, you're not going to go backwards. You're not going to go back to something, but some women do. And that's what Kevin Samuels was saying. He said that some women go backwards. They're going back, and then they end up with 3 or 4 baby daddies, and their value. A lot of men, who are professionals, they don't want to bring you around their
No.
colleagues
No.
in a professional setting where they, I get that. And the same for women. There's some women that are professional attorneys and doctors and lawyers and things of that nature, right? And doctors, but attorneys. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they don't want to bring someone who doesn't not up to stature, right? I mean, it works both ways. But what Kevin Samuel was saying from a male perspective, that's all
Correct.
it was. It was from a male perspective, not necessarily from the female's perspective. And he's giving you nuggets to say, hey, this is what we think,
Yeah.
right? As men, this is where we think. And I want to touch on something else, Jamil. Recently, there was a leak that the Supreme Court, right,
Hmm.
basically said that they're going to leave it up to the states to
Yeah.
determine the abortion
Yeah.
deal, right? If abortion is going to be legal or not, up to the state, right?
Right.
Which basically reversed Roe versus Wade, right? That
Right.
whole deal.
Yeah.
Now, I'm hearing, and this is just me, the podcaster coming out, just like yourself, right? I'm hearing that I hear folks, well, men are making decisions for women. The men are doing it. I mean, we haven't made any decisions for you.
Hmm.
We don't make those decisions.
Correct.
See what I'm saying? Like, you take something that the Supreme Court said and you try to put it on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have nothing to do with
You're
that
the bad guy.
decision.
You're the bad guy.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm reading comments. So people are very loose with their words, and they're very loose with their language, and they're very loose on Kevin Samuel, and they feel like they can just say whatever they want about him, diss him, but not look back at what anything logical that he may have said, anything that may have been of help to them, especially if they're looking to get married, right?
Correct.
What did he say of value that, hey, if I want to get married, like, it's like going to a counselor. And I go and I say, hey, I want to get married. I want to have children. I want to do all these things. Tell me a little bit what I need to be looking for. Well, he basically gave you that in a nutshell, and some people resisted it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, he said it himself, right? Men choose relationships, women choose sex, right? Because a woman can't be in a relationship if the man doesn't want to be in one, right? So that right there, that one line of information, that one nugget is instrumental, right? Because in the Bible it says, he who chooses a wife chooses a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't say she who chooses a husband chooses a good thing. The man chooses the woman. The man gets down on one knee and asks for marriage. So men choose relationships, women choose sex. That's it. That's the bottom line, right? We control that. And I think that has become a little bit skewed in this world we live in, right? So what I want to do real quick is before we continue with some of the life lessons, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share some of the actual comments that were made, and this is public knowledge. So please, I'm actually going to press play on here, and basically going to kind of go through them. It's about, you can see about 2 minutes and some change, but it says, I don't believe Kevin Samuels is dead. For the record, but me not feeling bad if he doesn't mean it. I'm celebrating it. He went out his way to be cruel. We're not required to mourn virtues he did on the show. and asking black women of all people. The show is tagged as audience. So basically, she's saying she don't care. I don't care if she's dead or not, and I'm not selling. You know, but I'm celebrating it. I mean, what kind of stuff is that?
You
Right?
know, this is just once again another case what we talked about before the show is that you know uh, you got to have some level of tact,
Yes. It's just
some
insane.
level of compassion for someone who passed away, regardless of how they may have felt. You know, I think in this society, we've gotten away from the word compassion because
Yes.
people aren't perfect. If this young lady, Ray, the writer, I know there's some things about her that aren't perfect, but if
Exactly.
something were to happen, I would send my condolences.
Exactly.
That's just a
Exactly.
basic fundamental thing.
Now check it out. Now I'm going to play a little bit more. Right. This is going to kind of go through and this little spiel here. Give it just a second. It's going to move. There we go. Kevin Samuels is dead, and just thinking it's funny, right? If Kevin Samuels is dead, the fat wins again. I'm fat. I'm alive, and he's worm food. What kind of shit is that, man? You know, Kevin Samuels
But
trying to figure out who let women in their 30s with 4 kids in his funeral. You know,
pause
I
that
mean,
for a second. Pause that for a second.
all right, let me go back. Yeah.
Because I understand something. You know, I understand. I want to know who created those memes.
Right.
Okay. So we got to look at it twofold. We got to take a layer deep. Who created those memes? Who decided that they went online, made these memes directed at Kevin Samuel? 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you it probably wasn't a black woman.
It probably wasn't a black woman.
Nope.
You don't think so, huh? All right.
I would say, I would probably say that 9 times out of 10, they didn't create them. I'm
Okay.
talking about the memes.
Yeah. Well,
I
these
think
are posts, right? So let's go through them again.
okay.
Let's just keep going through it so you can see. Now this guy Ernest Owens, right, has made a career off of shameless disgracing black people for profit, black women for profit. He embodied the most toxic individuals, project tired and harmful narratives about black women, dead or alive. What a disgraceful life to live. That's all I got for this misogynist. Okay, now not a black woman. I'm with you, right? So I'm not giving anybody any pub on this, but stuff like this. You know, I'm trying to figure out what the hell that is anyway. You know, um, people are glad he's gone or whatever.
Right.
It's really ridiculous. You know, I mean, so basically, and I'm not really trying to give. I'm going to do it for a couple more things, but I really want you to see exactly, you know, how the way people felt about what he was trying to do, right? Some of the rhetoric that's being portrayed here about him, the man just ain't been dead in the grave 4 days yet. and really, if you sit and think about it, that's very disrespectful. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. What bothers me the most about all this is that it's very disrespectful that you can look at a person who just passed, no matter what he said you agreed to or disagree with, or whatever the case may be, you don't show him and his family enough respect to say, you know what, okay, let me just
You know,
let it rest.
my mother always said, if you can't say anything nice, don't
Don't
say
say
anything
anything at
at
all.
all.
Yeah, don't
You
say
know,
anything at all.
but we're so at each other, man. It's ridiculous. I've never seen black men and black women at each other so much. This is unprecedented, you know.
Yeah,
This is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this before, ever in my life, where we are so at each other, where we don't let the other person breathe. You know, one group has to always be right. I had a podcast last week. I sat down with a politician, I asked him about Ukraine, you know, all this money we're giving to Ukraine. Why can't we
Mm-hmm.
give some of the money to
Folks on Skid
homeless and
Row, right? Black
right,
folk.
homeless and all that kind of stuff? He said, well, why can't we do both? Right? Like, why can't we, as black men and black women, what happened to us that we are so damaged, right? That we are so uh, have such a destructive attitude when it comes to our communities and our families
Mm-hmm.
that we can't even sit down to reason. And when someone passes away that we did not agree with their philosophy or methodology, we bash them. I wish people would have put the same energy into certain politicians when they were running for office or
Mm-hmm.
when they were president. Now you put more energy into this person. It's amazing where that energy has come from.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something you can take? You can take time to talk down to somebody who is basically dead and gone because you didn't agree with their philosophy. That's okay. It's okay to disagree. It's a natural order of law to disagree, but you can't put that same energy into going to vote. You can't put that same energy in choosing leadership. You can't put that same energy in going to school and bettering yourself.
I'll give you another example real quick. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Are you good?
Oprah Winfrey has her own channel. Oprah Winfrey highlights women on her channel.
Yeah.
I would probably say 85 to 95% of whatever is broadcasted on that channel is directed towards publicizing, promoting, uplifting black women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but not necessarily uplifting the black family.
Correct.
Okay, but uplifting black women. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Correct.
But I could say the same things about Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
And I can say the same things about her in a sense that, hey, look, what happened to, you know, putting shows on with you know, strong professional black men that are out here doing great things. Yeah. Where are those shows at, right? Yeah. I could literally say that and say, oh man, she's misogynist, da, 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 da. But if something were to happen to Oprah, even though she hasn't done those things, if something were to happen, I would definitely
send my heart goes out to the family and blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't say, well, Oprah, you know,
you didn't do this for us. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who does that, right? People with no tact, right? People with no intelligence, right? What I always say, Martin Luther King Jr. said, the two most dangerous characteristics, to be sincerely ignorant and to be conscientiously stupid. People who are conscientiously stupid, you know better. You will do better. You know not to put that shit out there like that, man. That's not right. That's not fair to his family or him, for that matter.
Exactly.
So why do it?
Especially when they were trying to determine where, you know, what happened, and his family didn't even know what happened, and they were and the authorities were trying to determine who, what, where, why, and it leaked out, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, his mother didn't even know.
Yeah,
that had happened to him, and people are ripping him apart. You know, it's like, I don't know. But, you know, maybe it's just me that, you know, sympathetic to him and his family, sympathetic to all people that particularly, if anything happens to anyone, I'm definitely going to be very cautious about my word choice.
If I go to Vegas and I'm out there on the strip or whatever, you know, can we do our annual Vegas trip or whatever? Say, when we go to Vegas, right? And I go to Vegas and I say, you know what, hey guys, I'm gonna go down here to the MGM and y'all going to Fremont or whatever, and y'all gonna go kick it or whatever, okay? And I'm gone for a while. You're like, well, damn, where's Jamil at? Jamil, we ain't talked to him in a long time. You're gonna try to call me, you're gonna try to text me first, see where I am, what's going on, right? But something's to happen to me and say, I fell, and heaven forbid this ever happens, but if I had a heart attack of some sort, right? Now, obviously, y'all gonna put an APB out on me and try to look for find out where I am. But somebody might discover me, right, and be like, well, damn, we didn't know Jamil was sick. Well, Jamil didn't know he was sick. You know, why didn't he tell me? Well, maybe Kevin didn't know. Maybe something happened. Maybe, who knows? Like I said, until the toxicology report comes back, no one's going to know. It's all speculation, right? We just know that if he was on top of a woman and he passed, and are you gonna call your mom? Mom, I'm screwing somebody else, and you know. But before I screw her, I'm letting you know I'm going in hot. You know what I mean? No, she's
Ain't
not
that,
going to
ain't
know.
that what happened? Ain't that happened with Richard Pryor's father?
Yeah. You know what I mean? No, she's not going to know.
He came and went at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? What your boy Chris Rock said, we should be coming and going. We should be traveling and screwing, coming and going. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, who's gonna know that? No one's gonna know that, right? But his mom found it like everybody else. It's not, that wasn't intentional. I'm sure if Kevin could, Mom, by the way, my body's over there. This is Kevin's angel. My body's over at the hotel or my apartment. Make sure you know first, so we let everybody know, TMZ and all them folks. Or call the family, call Uncle Richard, and let him know. The dude's dead. Come on.
We have to get back to. It was a time, man, in our community where we looked out for each other. There was a time in our community, even if we disagreed, even if if you disagree with a point or something that I had said, and I disagreed with something that you said, okay, maybe there's a cooling down period, right? But at the end of the day, we still got to be there for one another.
Correct. Bottom line.
In our community, we've gotten away from that, and people, they're just saying anything that they want to say these days, man. They're putting it all out there.
Yeah.
And just whatever. But I think that, and I'm on it, and I honestly believe, and the reason why I agreed to do this, because I honestly believe that Kevin Samuel wanted to do more good.
Oh, no doubt.
Than he wanted to hurt. I think that he had a particular opinion based off of his rating system or whatever the case may be, his logic right behind everything. And there were people that just didn't agree with that logic. They didn't agree with how he analyzed, viewed, and disseminated what he thought was the ideal woman. Right? So, but this is the thing, just real quick. When you watch TV, when you watch television, when you go on social media, right? What are they showing you as the ideal woman? They're showing you what Kevin Samuel was describing.
Yeah. Yes.
If you think about it, when you watch commercials, right? And you're on TV, you're watching commercials, and when you have fitness commercials, they have the Peloton commercial.
Yep.
They have the Lifetime Fitness commercial, all the work, these commercials, right?
Yep.
What are they showing you?
They're showing you the ideal person.
They show you the ideal person on a Viagra commercial.
Exactly.
They show you the ideal person on a Cialis commercial.
Yeah.
This is what the ideal woman looks like. Kevin Samuel said, hey, look, I'm going to put it in my own words, but it's the same exact thing.
Same thing. Bro, you couldn't have said it better. I could not have said it better myself. That's the same exact thing. All they doing is giving you a vision. And he's just verbally saying it. And so basically, to add to that, he's also saying what men are thinking. Period. Right? Sometimes we got to pick and choose our battles.
But right? I will say this, bro. I applaud all of, but he said they're exempt. So the married women, right? Kevin Samuel said it himself. And if you go to Facebook, if you go on social media and you look around, you start reading comments, look at the comments of the married women, look at the comments of the single women. Mm-hmm. They're completely different. Because a married woman knows that she has to submit. A married woman knows that there's a role, and submission is not a bad thing. Submission is saying that, hey, I'm here because you know what? I want you to lead. And I want you to be the protector. And I want you to be the provider. You know what? And you're going to play that role. I'm going to take care of these babies. I want to make sure that we don't have to warehouse them in a daycare and that we don't have to do, you know what I mean? Because we know that daycares aren't going to take care of our kids the way we need to. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
So,
but once again, bro, a lot of these women can't put the dick up, right? They want to be, they want to be the woman, right? They want to be, I don't need a man mentality. You know what I'm saying? I don't need I don't need no man. I don't need no man. Well, you know what? That's cool now. Yeah, that's cool now. You can say that. You can say that Right. Exactly. On the show, but I want to say real quick. You can say that now because you're like in your 30s and 40s and in your 50s, whatever. You can kind of move about the cabins just fine. Wait till you get about 60 and about 70 and your ass is in a wheelchair and you can't feed yourself, or for that matter, if you have to have surgery and you got to take care of yourself and your kids is going do what they're doing, and then you say, I don't need a man. Right? That's what Kevin Samuels was saying, especially from our black women. Why black women like, well, he don't like black women? No, that's not true.
No, that's the problem.
That's not true.
That's not true, man.
Because he was simply saying that if you, he was simply saying that 1 out of every 4 women, which is 75% of women, will not be married in their lifetime, and that's really awful. Yeah, that's the bottom of the food chain for our sisters.
That's sad.
That's sad. Sad. You put a picture on Off the Record about the 1960s. It showed a picture of a family, father, mother,
children. Yeah, the traditional family household.
Traditional family household. In 2000s, it was mother, children.
That's it.
And no father around. Now, that was a huge statement that you made. And he's been saying the same thing the whole time. The whole time. And so women who are in that position, who feel that, like me, I personally feel that, stepchildren can be liabilities. They are. I mean, I don't mean you don't love them, but they liabilities. And he said the same damn thing. And men don't care about your money.
Yeah, they don't care about
They don't care about your success. I don't give a damn about your success. The success is your success. Because if you walk away from me, guess what goes with you? Your success.
Well, I think also, well, let's go back to, a real man that gets up and goes to work every day, right? That handles his business and buys his own home and all these things, right? They don't care anything about your money. They got their own money. Thinking about I'm a baddie and all this other bullshit. That's the typical Hollywood bullshit that gets disseminated in our community, and then we lose sight of family. We lose sight. There's just another wall, another layer on top of the other bullshit that's been layered on top of other bullshit. At the end of the day, that's all it is. So you take that, okay, it's great. You got your own job. It's great. You got a 700 credit score. It's great that you bought a home and all. What is that? Has nothing to do with me.
No, nothing. We don't even care.
Right.
We don't even care.
And I'm not even put myself in the way. I'm just saying that for the average man that gets up and go to work every day, they like, okay, cool. That's cool. Whatever. You got those things. Great. Well, you know what? I got them too.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? And it's cool that you got him. And I'm not knocking you that you got him, because that's cool. That means you made some good decisions in your life. And that's cool. Right?
Sure. Yeah, no, you're spot on, bro. But here's the thing, bro. I guess I shouldn't say we don't care. I guess I would say that,
it's not a requirement.
What else can you do? Yeah, it's not a requirement. What else can you do? Your degrees, your money, really, it's good for you. We're not partners in this. You know what I'm saying? God gave Adam a helpmate. He didn't give Adam a partner. He gave him a helpmate. And I don't know anybody that has a partnership in relationships.
Yeah, most men don't want a partner.
No, I don't want no partner. I'm cool.
A partner?
Yeah.
A partner? What?
Yeah, we're not a corporation.
I go play basketball with my partner.
Yeah, exactly. Now, of course, we got a comment that says technically there aren't enough men on earth to accommodate women in marriage. The men are dying off young in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and that's another show.
You know what? Let me speak to that real quick.
Go ahead.
Why is it then? This is just me talking, and I appreciate the comment. But why is it that every man that I know, every man that I associate with, Every man that I hang out with, go to the gym with, play basketball with, go to soccer games with, all this stuff. Why are they all successful? Some of them are eligible, some are married, and they're all doing well for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There are eligible men out here. Do not believe the hype. They are out there, man.
Correct.
It's where are you? You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You go do the paint and wine with your girls, right? And you go and do all these different, you go to the social events and the clubs and stuff with your girls, and you go to church and all that other stuff. But some of us aren't in those spaces.
Yeah, that's correct.
We're not in those spaces, man. You gotta branch out. And we're not on dating sites because we know what that is. That's just bull crap. You know, I mean, you got to go to the right places. And I appreciate the question, but I'm telling you from experience, and I had a men's event. Remember I had that men's event?
Mm-hmm. Just recently.
Men's event. All men here in Indianapolis, right?
Mm-hmm.
All showed up, suited and booted. Some married, some single, eligible, doing very well for themselves right here in this city.
Right. Well, I think let's back a little bit. I believe she said there aren't enough men on earth to accommodate women in marriage. Men are dying off young. Men are dying off in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Okay. So let me, she said, that's great. However, it's not what I said. So let me go ahead and just kind of answer. That's not necessarily a question. Let me respond to that comment. Okay. Men are dying off in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Well, let me tell you something. Men are stressed. Okay. It's what stress that's killing men in their 30s, 40s, and especially in their 50s. Right. But here, and this, Omar said this to me a long time ago. Omar said it's going to come a point in life, in time, in history, where a man or women are going to have to get on board with being the woman number 2, 3, 4 to that one man. Now, I'm not saying that it's not this show and it's not that podcast to say that, but it's going to come a time when it's not going to be enough men to go around for women. That's we kind of there already, basically.
I think it's the opposite.
You think it's not enough women for men?
No.
Well, that depends now.
No, there aren't.
Explain.
Eligible.
Define eligible though. That's the key word, right? What does eligible mean, right? What is
means you're not bringing any bullshit to the table. Means you don't want to be a man. That's what it means.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of women coming to the table. They want to be the man. They want to tell you what to do.
Yeah, so that ain't happening. Not now.
So let's talk about it, man. If you want to talk about it,
not here.
You want to be the man in the house.
Put your dick up. That's what I said earlier. Put your dick up.
So what I'm saying to you is that it's the opposite. There are so many eligible good men. Yeah, there are men that are dying. There are women that are dying.
Yeah.
Okay. And what? So there are some good men out there. There are eligible men out, and maybe there is, and I will back up and I will say that yes, women outweigh men in as far as numerical. Okay. But how many of those women are eligible?
Correct.
How many of them know, and I'm not even like to use this term, how many of them understand how the family structure is designed in order to have successful offspring? Okay. So I'm not saying know your role, but I'm saying the family structure is designed a certain way so that your offspring can be successful. Some of them don't understand because they want to be the mother and the father.
Right.
You can't be both. It's totally impossible.
Well, you said it though, bro. You said know your role. That's the problem. That's the ultimate problem. Knowing your role. People don't know their role. You can't be the dishwasher, the cook, and the maitre d'. You got to be one or the other. You got to know your role. And so what happens is They want to step in, and I say they, I'm talking about some women want to step in and they want to do it all. Well, I don't need you to do that. I don't
That's
need you. I don't
not a
need that.
requirement.
It's not a requirement. I don't need it. I don't need it. Stay in your fucking lane. Pardon my language. Stay in your lane and maintain that role. I don't need you to do it all, because maybe some beta men do, but last time I checked, we got alphas on this call, and we don't need that in our lives. So let me just put it like this, because now I'm finna say something for the listeners. Kind of might piss a few folks off. You know me, man. I've been doing that since I was a kid, right?
You know what, though? But you know what, man? You know what? To be honest with you,
yeah, man.
You know, to be completely honest with you, we live in such a divided time.
Mm-hmm.
You could say the most honest thing, and people still get pissed off.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
You can
you can't handle transparency. It's transparency, right? Transparency ain't, you know. That
we gotta get some women on the show next time. We gotta get some women on the show next time and get their opinion and have get their opinion on here.
Yeah, I welcome it. As a matter of fact, I got someone said right now, some men need to know their role. You see that bullshit? You see what she just said? Some men need to know their role. Women always gotta come back and rebuttal some shit. They just can't just go with the flow. You know, gotta rebuttal. You know, some men need to know their role. It's just like, okay, you gotta this is a prime example about putting your dick up. Prime example. Which means some men gotta know their role. Women always got to rebuttal with some shit.
But see, this is what, and I just think that we live in like I said, man, and I'm going back to this again. We live in a time where nobody wants to back down.
Mm-mm.
You know, when I was coming up,
there's no
when I was coming up,
none.
My father was the provider, right? But my mother took care of the home. She made sure that we had what we needed, right? But my father was the provider.
Yes.
But they worked together to make sure that we had what we needed. Everybody has a role to play.
Yes.
Yes. As a man, and you know, yeah, we got to know our role, right? Yeah. We need to know our role. And that's so true. And our role is to go out and provide and make sure that everybody under that roof and that family is taken care of. But also at the same time, our role is a woman can't fill that role, because a woman can't teach a young man how to be a boy how to be a man.
Never.
Right? You can't do that. So everybody does have a role to play. And I think that women, you need to understand your role, and we need to understand our role. And the children have roles, right? Everybody has a role to play in this thing.
But here's the thing, bro. The comment was there are some men that need to know their role. Okay. My challenge in that space is that if a woman is going to get with a man and decide to say, okay, well, you know, this is someone I want to be with, or whatever the case may be, you know, that's something that they should kind of look for, right? Mm-hmm. What is this man's role already? What is he doing? I don't think there's any woman out there that wants to get with a man who doesn't understand where they fit into the equation. I hope not. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right? You know, last time I checked, 2 and 2 is 4, right? 2 and 2 ain't 5. So the math has to add up somewhere in that space. So I believe firmly that a lot of our women, and I say our, my Black women,
which we love, by the way.
We love it. Yeah, they are God's gift.
Put that disclaimer out there, man.
Yeah, that's fine. No, they are God's gift to us.
Yeah,
right. They are God's gift to us. I'm not saying anything negative, but what I am saying is that we are, like I said earlier, we are the only race of people that say, I don't need a man.
Yeah.
You don't see the Asians. You don't see the, you know,
Nobody.
Latinos, you don't see, you
Nobody.
know, the majority, you don't see anybody saying that but us. And from Tyler Perry's I could think like a man. When I'm sorry, that's Steve Harvey. Think like a man. I don't do better by myself, and all these other
That
programs get out here.
perpetuates the
Yeah,
problem.
exactly. And that's all it does is just add to it. So right. So what are we doing as a Black community, a Black educated community at that, to build the foundation of families, to make to get back to where we were, which is Kevin Sanders was saying. We need to get back to that traditional household, right? To this, you know as well as I do. I mean, I'm gonna get off subject for a second. We got we got a bunch of siblings in our family, right? A bunch of siblings in our family, right? And so, but having a mother and a father in the household with us determined the pathway of us today. We are all successful because we had a mother and a father in our household.
But more importantly, they understood their role.
Exactly. They understood their roles. But once again, you had to be there to understand the role. You had to be in the household to understand the role. So all I'm simply saying is that it takes a Black family to have both parents, or at least an active parent. Active parents. You got to necessarily be in that same household, I guess, but you got to be active, right? Because my kids came out to separate household, but I was always active with them in their space, and they came out to be, who they are. God, which I'm 2 thumbs up, right, for them. But at the same token, you have to have that balance in the household in order for everyone to be on top of their game. That means you got to know your role.
Yeah.
You have to have it. You have to know you have to understand the role of the man, whether he's in the household or not. And these fathers out here, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all need to get involved in your children's lives. You can't be a father remotely and expect for them to be successful if you don't play a role in their life. But go ahead. You're gonna say.
I think that as say, for example, as a husband, right? And we talking about roles that we all play. And as a husband in a household, you have to be the provider, the protector, right?
And the priest.
Yeah, you got to be everything. Counselor, right? You got to be the barber. You got to be everything, right? And that's a role that's not very difficult to play at all. I mean, you just have to have common sense. You have to also at the same time have some humility and understand and empathy, because you have to understand where other people are coming from and understand how they view the world, how they view things in within the family structure. So really at the end of the day, it's not very difficult to be that leader in the household. It takes a couple of things though. It does take 2 people to really to look at each other and say, you know what? I'm not right all the time. You're not right all the time. Neither one of us are right all the time. But you know what? We can work through this together, but what we have to understand is that communication is key. And the type of communication that we're getting right now all over social media is not, we're airing our dirty laundry for the world to see. And that's one of the things that we in the African American community, we do a lot of. We put our dirty laundry out there for everybody to see. And you don't see that coming from other groups, right? Like they don't put their dirty laundry out there for all of us. So I think that it takes an environment that is conducive to success, conducive to building each other up. And I think that can be done, but you have to have effective communication. People get caught in their feelings. And some people really don't know how to communicate. They take that I'm disagreeing with you as I'm arguing with you. No, it's just simply, I don't agree with the point that you're trying to make. I see the point you're trying to make. Here is my counter. And then now we're off into a whole nother world. Because why? Because a lot of times they lacked that type of person in their household that teaches them how to be effective communicator. And I think if you really think about it, look at our communities, look at the movies that, going back to, what is it, Boys in the Hood, right? How was their mother? How did she treat Doughboy, right? How did she treat that? You ain't gonna be shit because your daddy wasn't shit, right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you start looking at that type of behavior and that type of communication, then it leads to what Kevin Samuel's talking about. Some people aren't on the level to be able to handle a man that maybe grew up, got a 4-year, went and got a degree, got a master's, maybe he's an attorney, whatever the case may be. Some women just aren't ready for that, man, and some men just aren't ready for that either. But it comes down to communication, and I think that's where a lot of us miss the boat. And in some cases, we're probably better off, because until they can understand how to communicate, they probably ought to be alone.
Why be what? I'm sorry.
Be alone.
Oh yeah. And buy a dog, huh? Buy a dog, die alone, right? Exactly. But you know what? That and that's the challenge right there too. I think that as we sum this up, I think that in the end, when I sit and think about the message that Kevin Samuels was trying to share overall, like I said, he was all about the Black families. Number one, we should be clear on that. He was all about the Black family, right? He was all about making sure that women, didn't entertain the idea of being men for a long time without having marriage on the plate, right? Or on the plan, however you want to say it, right? So marriage had to be in the plan, or you're dating dumb. That's what they call that. Don't date dumb. Have some sort of plan in the long run. Also, too, as far as women, with this I want $100,000, a high value man, or this, that, and the third. Well, basically stay in your lane. And the same thing go for men too, right? Stay in your lane. You know what I'm saying? If that's not the intent, average is not bad. Number one, average is not bad. It's not a bad thing to be average. Okay, it's not a bad thing. I want to make sure I can clearly say that on this podcast. It's not a bad thing to be average. But if you consider yourself above average, then you better be doing above average shit. Real talk. Working out, keeping yourself in shape, being fit, feminine, cooperative, submissive. You need to make sure that you are doing above average stuff to have an above average person. Because really, truth be told, 90-10, I'm talking about 90%, 10%, 90% of the women out here today are average. And average ain't a bad thing. So don't expect
really
more.
It's not a bad thing at all.
Not a bad thing.
If you read, you want somebody that reads, right? Like, if
Yeah.
you work out, you want somebody that works out. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you travel, you want somebody that can be able to travel with you, right? I mean, that's just how it goes. And like-minded people, they mesh and they work and they it just works out. It fits, right?
Amen.
So
birds of a feather, what?
Lock together, and that's
exactly.
That's just the way it is, right?
That's it.
What we all have to graduate. And I think there was a comment about conflict management, right? Yeah, I mean, really, at the end of the day, it just comes down to communication, how we communicate. Somebody's saying, hey, look, okay, time out. We're going off the deep end. Okay, time out. Let's hit the reset button, right? Let's take 5 minutes to just kind of hit the reset button here, and then we'll figure things out. That's what it takes. I think that in relationships, Kevin Samuel, did he have it right all the time? No, he didn't have it right all the time. Were there some valid points that he made that were valid in speaking for men in regards to how we feel about, all the disruption and the chaos that's going on in our community among Black men and Black women? Absolutely, he hit those points, because we are at chaos right now. We need to figure out a plan, and maybe he didn't have all the answers, but maybe he sparks a conversation that we should start working together and considering each other as we and how we communicate with one another moving forward.
Yeah. No, you're spot on, bro. You're spot on. That's why some of the stuff he's shared should not be taken emotionally, should not be taken personally. He's not talking to you directly. He's talking about the situation itself as a whole, right? Look at the numbers don't lie. He said the data don't lie. Right? The data does not lie, right? The data tells the story. The census or whatever resources that he's using to pull the data from, it don't lie, right? Yeah. And, he, at the end of the day, like I said, he's trying to build up the Black families. and I have the utmost respect for that brother. I know that he had offended a lot of people in their personal space, right? I get that, but I want people to sit and listen and understand that the ultimate mission behind Kevin Samuels was to build up the Black families and make sure that we are not on that 25% barometer. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it right there. Exactly.
Building up the family, right?
That's it. Absolutely. That's it. And that's the instruction guide right there. No doubt. That's it. You know what I mean? And so we just need to make sure. And by the way, for the listeners in the podcast, he just held up The Message of the Black Man by Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's the book he just showed. And I said that was it. So I want to make sure that I'm sharing that. Yeah, you can get that at your local Amazon or whatever, you know what I'm saying, online. But that's the book that he's just sharing. But
well, and we can talk a little bit about that, maybe on a different podcast and what the inserts in that particular text covers a lot of what's been in the comments, talking about, conflict resolution, talking about roles that we play and what role the children play, talking about communication with one another, talking about anger and trust. Because really, at the end of the day, that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about trust. We're talking about trust. We have to develop trust within the community, because once you develop trust, all this other stuff clears itself up. We don't trust each other because of what somebody else did. Yeah. Because somebody else lacked how to communicate. Because somebody else lacked how to communicate, how to effectively communicate.
Yes.
Right. Because someone else didn't know their role in this. So message to the Black man kind of helps clean up that mess, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it's one of your guys, ain't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's my boy Matt.
Okay. All right, Matt.
Yeah, you remember Matt Berryhill.
Yeah, you on mute. I'm mute your mic, Matt.
Okay, I think I got it.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Matt. You remember Matt, Jamil?
Yeah, I remember.
We coached him many years ago.
Oh wow!
Let me see. I'm trying to get it put on speakerphone. So it's kind of low right now. Hold on.
It's all grown up now. Huh?
That's fine.
Yeah, grown man now.
I think I might have it now.
Can you hear us? Okay, Matt.
What's going on? Sorry, I'm a little late. I just got back from taking the wife and kids out to eat.
Wow, he's all grown up now, ain't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and Matt, we talked a little bit about Kevin Samuel. I saw a couple of your posts out there earlier today, and can you share a little bit about what Kevin Samuel kind of meant to you, and any comments or feedback that you may have?
So my outlook with the whole Kevin Samuel, I agree with a lot of stuff he said. Like, people get in their feelings a lot when it comes to him because they think that he's talking directly to him or to them, him, her, whoever. But a lot of people don't realize that Kevin Samuels started off trying to better the man and the family and everything, trying to tell people don't sell yourself short, don't always just settle for whatever you think you have to settle for. But once he starts talking to women, and like he said, it's always women go off of feelings. Men go off of truth, off of fact. We live our life off of facts and not just feelings. So it's like I just agree with him on that level completely, because I'm a factual type of person. So I can agree with like the facts that he has.
Yeah. Like I said, logic, right? He used logic in his reasoning. He used data in his information. Basically the whole feeling side. And I love when he used to say, "The world don't owe you nothing," right? The world doesn't owe us anything. And so I can definitely have appreciation for what Matt just said when it's talking about as far as the feeling side of it. Let's take the feelings out of it and let's put the logic into it. Let's put the data there. Let's put the what's the numbers don't lie. And I'm in IT, so I'm really about the data. The data tells the story exactly what it is. Period. If I say there were 5 shootings in this side of the woods in the neighborhood, then that's going to tell me, okay, Jamil, how do you get your data? Well, there's police reports, there's 911 calls, there is coroner reports to show the data that took place. So, oh well, I feel you're wrong. Well, wait a minute. You feel I'm wrong, but the data don't lie. You can feel any way you want. The data tells the story.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what it is.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like I should have $1 million. Don't mean it's gonna make it the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's what they call evidence-based decisions, right? We make decisions, man. We base it off of evidence. We base it off, okay, well, whatever the scenario may be, that's what we focus on. We focus on that, and that's because we're wired different, right? and when you're in a relationship, some women don't look at it that way. Some men may not even look at it that way. But we got to come to a consensus.
Absolutely. So real quick here, I want to ask you a question, Matt. So the question I have is, at the end of the day, we know that we lost Kevin Samuels a few days ago. God rest his soul. What can you take away from the lessons that he shared with you that you picked up, right? Watching his YouTube videos. What can you take away from that you will try to maybe somewhat share or practice with other folks in your circle?
I do speak a lot, like just people that I talk to. The main thing I take away is speak your truth. Don't live your life off your feelings. Just live your truth. If you feel a certain way, express it. Don't bite your tongue trying to take care of somebody else's feelings. Don't bite your tongue all the time, because a lot of times nobody's gonna do that for you. Even though sometimes biting your tongue might be helpful, when telling the truth might be the double-edged sword. But sometimes y'all both have to fall on that sword together if somebody wants to really realize that truth.
Yeah, and I think that's well put. I think that's exactly what he did. He spoke his truth. A lot of folks were offended by what he said. A lot of folks are shooting him down, even in death. And for those individuals, I hope you find some prayer or God soon.
Well, it's not so much individuals. There's a lot of men that didn't agree with him, yeah, but it's mostly just the women that I think that he was talking to, not talking about, but just talking to, because they can't handle that constructive criticism. They think that he's trying to bash them instead of trying to help them, trying to explain to them, if you 300 pounds, ain't no man that's gonna make $1 million a month gonna want that. It's like you have to better yourself in order to obtain the goals that you want.
I agree. I agree. But at the same time, too, Matt, yes, there were women out there but there are some guys too, that are calling him a misogynist and all those things as well, and that's downplaying it too. And at the end of the day, you said it, Matt, yourself. You got to speak your truth, right? Yep. You got to speak your truth. And I think he gave us an opportunity, because how many platforms out there right now outside of like a platform like this, or my younger brother's platform, that's allowing men to speak their truth? What's out there right now? I mean, somebody help me out, because I don't know of anything out there right now that's doing that.
The one that I watch more than I skim through Kevin Samuels videos a lot. Like I listen to a lot of stuff he said, but the one that I watch, and it's not just, it's called Fresh and Fit. It's a podcast on YouTube. It's 2 guys that does the exact same thing, but they sit in a room with all, like, from females from all different walks of life, not just black, white, just nurses and strippers and like every type of female you could think of. They call them in and they have discussions, and it's just the same thing. And he's actually letting them explain why they feel like they deserve this type of man with having nothing to bring to the table. So it's like they're the same kind of thing, but it's for the younger population. It's for the younger chicks that's growing up thinking that they gonna hit 21 and then go to Miami, find a millionaire.
Yeah, good luck with
Like,
that.
he talks to a lot of different women.
Yeah. Okay. That's what's up. Well, thank you. I'm gonna look at that. Fresh and fit, right? Fresh and fit.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna add that to my watch list. That's what's up. Well, I think we're definitely out of time, but I wanted to thank you guys for joining in. And thank you, Matt, for popping in at the last minute. Hey, man, it's good to see you. I mean,
no problem. It's good seeing you too.
Coaching you. He's a little dude there, man.
Yeah, I was probably about knee high.
Oh wow. Right there, you talking about for the Pumas, right out there on the.
Yeah, over Dewberry.
Dewberry Park.
Wow. Man, I feel old now. Boy.
Man, you know what though, man? I'm really proud of Matt, man. He takes care of his family, military guy, did his time, and I'm just really excited to know him. He's a good person, and it's hard to find good people. You know what I'm saying? And
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You got a great family, including your mom and your siblings, and they're just good people, and it's just hard to find good people.
That's what's up.
Nowadays it's really hard because you think you have good people, but it'll be the ones that you got closer to you to take you out.
Yeah. That's why you keep your circle small, man.
Yep.
That's right. Exactly. The older you become, the smaller it becomes.
Yeah, that's true.
That's real talk. Exactly.
Can't be friends with everybody.
Yeah, boy.
Not at all. Everybody don't have the same interests at heart.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I'll tell you what.
Hey, Matt, is that your new house?
Yeah. So this was the basement right here. This was the
I see some alcohol over there, brother.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. You got some alcohol over there.
Yeah. So it was all red. So we put a new floor in and everything. Painted the wall blue. Got the ceiling white. I haven't put my pictures and stuff up yet. But then we painted the whole first floor except for the kitchen. We did new floors up there and everything. So we slowly but surely coming along.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Like I can't stop. My damn cheeks hurting.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna have to come check it out one day. Come
back.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Oh wow, these little Puma dudes. Boy, I tell you, I remember them days. Wow, East Side Pumas.
Yeah.
That's all right. But hey, listen, man. Thank you guys very much for joining the podcast. I appreciate it. Once again, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Thank you for the life lessons that you shared with us, so we can carry on to try to produce a better community for our families and for those yet to come. And once again, this is Men Speaking Out, and Men Speaking Out is an advocate for Kevin Samuels, and we are going to incorporate some of those lessons that he shared with us throughout our future podcasts, but as well, Off the Record is also going to do the same, and be looking for Off the Record, Men Speaking Out. Hey, this is the year of the Shabazz, so life is good. So there you go. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks, man. Good to see you, young man.
All right, y'all take it easy.
Long way from East Side Post Road.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Right on, man.
All right, y'all take it easy.
All right, peace.